And welcome back once again to another episode of Katawa Shoujo. In the last part, we got down. That's for sure. And I guess we passed out. And now it seems to be, I don't know, maybe later in the day? I think I hear rain falling in the background, so I guess we've definitely, I don't know, like half slept through. But anyway, let's get this started. After being woken by a sound, I open my eyes with a measure of reluctance. Turning my head to the left, I find the rain outside sweeping against the windows loudly. Spray after wind-blown spray lashes against the glass, as if trying its hardest to make up for the summer's previous heat. I sit up in the futon, holding the back of my neck to try and subdue the pain from my awkward sleeping position. By all accounts, I should be lamenting the turn in the weather, given that it is our last day here. The events of yesterday's refuse to stop flooding my mind, though. The feeling of holding Lily's crying body in my arms, the rush of lust and hormones that flowed through us as we spent the night together. It seems almost futile to try and rationalize everything that's happened. In an attempt to distract myself, I groan and lean over to retrieve my bag without standing, pulling out one bottle after another. I take the daily regimen's worth of pills from their containers and swallow them without further ado. It took a surprisingly short amount of time to get used to swallowing pills without water. That said, I suppose the same thing goes for getting used to living in a school for disabled students. Remembering Yamaku, I become all the more grateful for having the chance to get away, even if it's just for the shortest of times. I appreciate the chance to spend time alone with Lily and Hanako, away from the bustle of school life, even considering the latest complications. I never thought I'd say it, but the idea of living away from the city in a nice, tranquil area is an inviting one. It's a thought that, barely a year ago, would have seemed simply ludicrous. A flash of pink, no doubt Hanako's gown, peeks from around the corner. Realizing I must look a sight since I've only just woken up, I slap the remaining pills into my mouth and run a hand through my hair. Good morning, Hisao. Go. I reply to her, completely forgetting that I'm in the middle of swallowing a particularly large pill. Coughing and sputtering, I violently gag on it. Hisao. After sputtering loudly and tapping my chest a couple of times to force it down, I managed to recover. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm fine. I like how I mixed fine and sorry together. To be perfectly fair, that's probably how I'd respond. You know, just what do they call them? Freudian slips. It's just sort of like, how would I respond in this situation? I'm sorry. I mean, I'm fine. Sorry, I'm fine. Shit. That's how I would respond to that anyway. I'm fine. Sorry. Forgot I was swallowing. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I hold my hand up, gesturing for Hanako to stop. I gagged. It's my fault. Morning, Hanako. She pauses a moment before bowing in reply. Staggering in behind Hanako is the familiar figure of Lily, also dressed in her pajamas, with her eyes full of sleep and hair bedraggled. Bedraggled? I've never heard of that word before. Bedraggled. So bedraggle is an actual thing? I'm gonna have to look that up. If I know if it actually is a word and it just wasn't just like a made up word to set this, I'll put the definition on the screen here. She's a sight to behold. Hi, Lily. Good morning, Hisao. For a while, a silence hangs in the air as neither of us knows what to do. Given what happened last night, we both have more than enough reason to be finding the situation awkward. Just how are we meant to react to meeting each other after something like that? The best course of action would probably be to talk to Lily alone, to set things in order. I'll start making breakfast. Lily evidently catches on to my train of thought. I'll help. Hanako, could you set the table? She nods, her head disappearing into a cupboard as she quickly goes about her assigned task. I rub a little more sleep out of my eyes as I wander over to the fridge and take out some milk, and Lily grabs various brightly colored boxes from some of the lower cupboards to my side. While we make the rather bland-looking meal, blank, it is devoid of color, especially because they came from colored boxes. No, rather bland-looking meal. I whisper somewhat more quietly than usual, knowing Lily's hearing. Jeez, I'm slurring my words all over the place these days. She won't have any trouble catching what I say. Are you okay, Lily? After last night? She gives a delicate nod, her expression weak. Though her tiredness surely plays a part, she seems genuinely unsure about what's happened between us and how to move ahead. I can't say I blame her, considering my feelings are the same. I'm sorry, Hisao. I wasn't thinking straight yesterday. I never stopped to consider you or Hanako, and I even went as far as... She's winding herself up. With her hands and voice both tightening, I give her a gentle bump to try and lighten up the situation. You don't have to apologize. I said I liked you as well, after all. But As her composure begins to falter, it becomes obvious there's no alternative. Turning to Lily, I gently embrace her tall frame. She offers no resistance at all, thankfully pulling back just from the edge of her emotions. Despite our reassuring embrace lasting only a matter of seconds, I notice Hanako's wordless watching. The plate in her hands hovering inches above the table, her actions halted at midway by the sight. Oh, Jesus. You know, this is one thing that while, in the last part that I never really, pieced together, but what if she had, woken up and, was, creaking out and then, watching us for the entire time? You know, she's the type of person that would, she would open the door slowly because she doesn't want to interfere, but then that sudden realization that, oh my god, my friends are doing it. But do you think that she would quickly slam the door, or would she sit there and watch? It's one of those things where, because of her personality, it doesn't feel like leaps and bounds to think that she would be, stunned and, slowly watching. Just in complete stun. She'd probably just pass out, but who knows. The clattering of utensils against plates is the only sound to be heard as we silently eat. Whereas before, only two of us may have been unsure of ourselves, the entire situation has changed. After weeks of blissful friendship, whiling away the days with shared meals and chattering with little meaning, the relationship of Lily and me, no, that of all of us, has irreversibly changed. I can't take this. Lily. She solemnly nods, gently laying her spoon onto the plate in front of her. Neither of us know exactly how to regard each other, let alone how Hanako would view us. This might seem abrupt, but I've confessed to Hisao. For a moment, Hanako looks almost confused, precisely the reaction I thought she would have. She eventually nods, her spoon still in her mouth as she does. Did you accept? I did. She gives a smile so large and so earnest, I find myself blushing. I think it's the brightest I've ever seen her expression look. Oh, okay. That's good. The only thing that I was, kind of afraid of is that by being very nice to her, that she had, actually had some feelings towards him, and then this is where it backfired. So it's good to see, unless she's faking it, which I don't think Hanako's pretty good at faking it, she's genuinely happy that this is a good turn of events. Then I'm happy. I'm really, really happy. I'm sorry for not telling you anything about it before. Things have been... Hanako shakes her head from side to side empathetically, apparently forgetting in her rush that Lily couldn't possibly notice. She begins fiddling with her fingers, looking a little more nervous than she did before. To be honest, I began to think you might like each other a while ago,
At first I didn't really know what to think about it, but I decided in the end that if my friends are happy, then I'm happy.
Aww. Aww. Aw, she just... Please, someone, just pat her on the head. Aww.
I was really glad to have another friend when we met Hasao, so you finding love through him is even better, right?
A feeling of relief at her acceptance of our relationship falls over me like a wave. The same happens to Lily, judging by her expression.
Thank you, Hanako. I really appreciate you being so understanding.
Lily's voice still sounds slightly apologetic, or at least unsure. This doesn't escape Hanako, who appears lost in thought for a few moments before turning to me.
Hasao, do you mind if Lily and I go outside for a bit?
No, feel free.
Hanako?
Hanako gets up from her seat, taking Lily's hand and almost dragging her from the table in her excitement. Considering Lily's typically slow and steady pace, Hanako's haste makes her footing awkward and almost loses her balance a couple of times. It's a pretty amusing sight, leaving me wordless as I watch them disappear out the door. It's only now that I realize the rain stopped, being replaced by a sky seemingly all the more vivid and bright to make up for the morning's drab gray expanse. For Hanako, this must be a pretty big revelation. Lily and I are really the only people she's associates with, almost as if we are parents in her own stead. I suppose that might well be the best way to describe the relationship we share. A father, mother, and daughter, all playing around in our little make-believe family, as if it could last forever. It might be a strange dynamic, and one that certainly can't last for long, but maybe, just for this one small moment, it's okay. As I stand from the table and go to join Lily and Hanako in the field outside, I nod to myself in affirmation. This one small moment of happiness, no matter how brief, will last with me, with all of us, forever.
You shouldn't say that. This is when things are Daijobu again, and then they're going to ruin the Daijobu.
We'll pretend that isn't happening. Submerged deep in the hot water, I let a drowned-out sigh escape my lips. The feeling of seemingly every muscle in my body relaxing is euphoric. I have no idea how long it's been since I had a genuine hot bath, but right now I can hardly be bothered trying to remember. Maybe I'm giving the simple fact that for once I get to have a real bath more credit than it's due. The chance to just calm down, allow myself to unwind, and have some time to myself is a welcome one. Hanako, Lily, and I wandered about outside, exploring the extent of the surprisingly large tract of land surrounding the house. Then we spent the majority of the afternoon resting, watching television, reading, and playing cards. It may not have been the most exciting finale to the trip, but such tranquil peacefulness is something to savor. Even after we return to the schools tomorrow, I think I'll remember this little house in Hokkaido for a long time. It's a pity we only have a couple more hours to spend here before going to get the train back. All I can do is yawn contently while I watch the steam slowly rise from the clear as water's placid surface, my eyes eventually locking onto the ceiling. Man, I love taking baths. It was one of those things where I loved it when I was a kid. And then when I was a teenager into my early adult years, all it was showers because it was go, 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 go. It was school, work, sleep, shower, repeat. And that was my life for 4 years, in my early 20s. But now that I'm older and I have a lot more time, I actually feel it necessary to take that time and relax sometimes. And it's just one of those things where you have to sort of get in the mindset. I know some people don't particularly like baths because they have that feeling of all I'm doing is lying in my own filth in a sense. But I use it more as a relaxation tool than a proper cleaning tool. Though, as a funny note, I think the reason why I got more into baths was back when I was in my old apartment, my shower head broke. And my landlord wasn't particularly that assertive when it came to complaints about things. And that really came down to that superintendent. But eventually, I was just like, well, I can't not bathe because I have to work. So I ended up taking baths for, I think it was almost like 2 months. Because, like, they refused to come and fix my shower head. To a point where, like, I actually did it myself. Because I was just like, I like baths, but I don't like them this much. So that's the only time that I've ever, like, taken a bath strategically for the use of cleaning myself. In any case, I know this conversation got completely derailed, but you know what I mean. It's always good to take a little anecdote every once in a while. Our exams are imminent. I've barely studied at all for them. On top of that, I don't even know what I'll do after graduation. Passing exams is all well and good, but to what end? Also now, of all times, I'm getting into a relationship. What the hell am I doing? I guess I shouldn't think like that. What's done is done, and maybe this could be the view as just another aspect of my life that I'm working on. I enjoy being with Lily, and there's no more life than school and a career after all. As I busily attempt to rationalize all that's happened, I hear a series of rapping on the door. I pick myself up and sit upright, trying to figure out the source. 3, no more, no less, light yet assertive in their tapping, and timed regularly enough to tune a metronome. I'd be extremely surprised if it wasn't Lily. May I come in? Yeah, it's Lily. I'm still in the bath. I'll be out in a sec. I know. The voice coming from the other side of the door freezes me. After a second's thought, I rest on the side of the bath and let my arms dangle over the side. Trying my best to play it off, I can't help letting my mind wander. Sure, come in. Oh, Jesus. Are we doing this again? We just had this. Is this happening again? Alright, she's clothed. Well, why wouldn't she? She's coming in from outside. I mean, she could have taken her clothes off before. With that, she opens the door, slowly walking into the room and closing it behind her. She looks oddly calm, considering my racing heart. Hey, Lily. Do you mind if I take a bath with you? Yeah, this is happening. Oh yeah, there's the romantic music too. Man, I just finished editing that other part. Am I gonna have to do this again? I might as well get through this. all your comments, by the way, have been very nice. Thank you for the feedback. It's always welcome to read your comments. I don't mind. Go ahead. With a small nod, she begins to lift her sweater off her shoulders, baring her chest little by little. I could do that for you if you like. You have wet hands. You're gonna get her clothes wet, Hisao. What did I tell you about being a gentleman? At least dry yourself off first. Refused. Why? Her face shows she's still not overly comfortable with letting me attend to her. I can't say I blame her. She continues undressing, her shirt and skirt. Oh, gosh. I don't know why that actually like struck me for a second. That I'm like, there's the only difference between shirt and skirt is one letter. Like it actually, I felt it explode in my mind. Is that bad? Is that silly of me? I don't know. Falling to the floor and leaving her in her white lace bra and panties, eventually she stands bare in the center of the room. Yep, there we go. Gotta cover that up. Compared to the last time, it's a lot easier to take in her entire figure. It's a wonderful sight. Sao? You're thinking perverted thoughts, aren't you? Give me a break. You're undressing in front of me. She furrows her brow in thought. I guess this would be somewhat more erotic for you than me. Why? She gives a small, light-hearted chuckle, which seems to settle her nerves a little. If this is too much for you, Hisao, I can come back later. No, this is fine. I'm just a bit... well, you're really beautiful, you know? My earnest comment draws a vivid red blush from Lily. Hisao? I give a small grin. She's cute when she's taken off guard. In any case, may I come in? Sure. I lean forward and take her soft hand in mine, helping her over the side of the bath. She feels out the side of the bath, and then slowly lowers herself in, my breath catching when she sits and leans her back onto my front, her legs inside mine. I expected her to sit at the other end. Nah. You gotta play your cards right, dude. That's how you sit in the bath. It's actually more comfortable that way. Trust me, you don't want her feet anywhere near your most precious member. Just want to say that out loud. But anyway, I guess we'll continue the scene tomorrow, before the I guess the kinky stuff or the lewd stuff happens. So take care, guys, and stay frosty.